So I wanted to do a video on cichlids and aggression. And all these fish here are pretty large. The red devils are pretty large. They're definitely the tank boss. Anyways, this tank and all my tanks, I have several tanks. I think I have 17. They're all peaceful. Doesn't matter what fish I have in them. Doesn't matter what types. Doesn't have multiple males of the same species, male and female. I don't have aggression problems. So I've always had a theory on why I didn't. So I've been trying to test it with different tanks. So I'll do it on one tank, and I'll go back to the way I was doing it. Then I'll do it on another tank, go back to the way I was doing it. So anyways, I feed my fish twice a day, every day, no matter what. I feed them until I feel like they all have a good mouthful, till they're full. You can see how plump they are. I don't worry about nitrate. I don't worry if I have to do more tank maintenance. It doesn't matter to me. If I have to do more, that's fine, if it means I have peaceful tanks. So what I've been doing is, tank by tank, I've been stopping feeding them twice a day, going to once a day. And sure enough, within 3 days, they start chasing each other. They start fighting each other. It turns into total chaos. I start feeding them twice a day again. 2 days, it goes back to normal. Perfectly fine. Like these red devils, I've had these two fish since they were babies. I got them when they were probably 1.5 inches and raised them. They've been with African cichlids the whole time. Never a problem. They've never killed the fish. Where is he? This fish right here, this VC10, I went and picked him up from a lady because he was killing all her fish. Brought him home, picked him up out of the bucket, dropped him in there. Never a problem. In fact, I got quite a few fish that I've picked up from people like that. Anyhow, so what I'm saying is, for all the people having problems with their fish, beating each other up, because I see it all the time, people taking their fish to fish stores, pet stores, getting rid of them, giving them away, selling them because they can't solve the aggression in their tanks. Feed your fish more. These fish are territorial. Part of territory is resources. And I know they always act like they're hungry, but sometimes it's because they're really hungry. And they get feisty when they're hungry. So these fish right here, let me grab their food. This is what I feed them. I feed this twice a day. 3 to 6 millimeter pellets. And there's protein pellets and there's veggie pellets in there. This is the best food I've found on the market. I've tried all the top name brands. This one is the best. Anyhow. And then to go on with feeding twice a day and people not wanting to do it because they're worried about bloat. And they're worried about fish getting sick and their tank being full of algae and nitrate and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you're worried about nitrate, do larger water changes. 30%, 25% water change. The tank like this, even if the fish were smaller, this many fish in this tank, it's a 6-foot tank, it's 125 gallons. It's not enough. If you have 80 parts per million nitrate at the end of the week, and you do a 25% water change, you're only dropping it to 70, 68 at best. Because when you fill the tank back up, all that water you have left in there is still at 80 parts per million, which means all you're doing is diluting it. You're not removing 25% of the nitrate, you're diluting 80 parts per million in all the water in there. If you don't believe me, test it yourself. Test before water change and then after water change, and I guarantee you, if you're using like an API kit, you're going to barely be able to tell a difference in the color. So by doing larger water changes and having my filter set up, this tank doesn't grow any algae. You can see the decor, spotless. It's never been taken out of the tank, it's never been cleaned. These plants have never been removed from the tank, never been cleaned. The glass in the back You can see the bacteria growing on it. Never been cleaned. I've had this tank for years. I do clean the front panel and the side panels. If you do your maintenance right, you get your filter set up right, you won't grow algae. And this room gets a lot of natural light. There's a big window straight across from it, plus another window on the wall next to it. But it's one of my oldest tanks. And because of the test I did, I lost 3 fish in this. 2 fish. 1 I might lose, which is my favorite fish out of all my fish. I probably have about 1,000 cichlids. And it's my favorite one. He's a very large. He's just as big as the rest of these fish. Redfin Burlehi, and he's amazing. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more perfect fish. And he didn't get beat up. He wasn't all torn to pieces. But because they were chasing each other and the decor, they were getting dinged up on the rocks. And the cut got infected. Same thing with the other 2. So he's in a tote downstairs healing. The other 2 got infected too, and they didn't make it. So whether it was the infection or the medication I'm giving them that killed them, who knows. A lot of times medication will kill your fish because it stresses them out too much. They're already stressed for being sick or whatever. But yeah, if you want to reduce aggression in your tanks, feed your fish properly, twice a day, every day. If you're worried about bloat, and that's the reason why you don't feed more, feed a good quality fish food like this. If you read the ingredients, look at the first ingredients in this, all the way through. If in the first 5 ingredients it says anything like wheat, or soy, or flour, or I can't remember what the other ones are, any of the fillers, it's a terrible food. Don't feed it. All that filler will bloat your fish. They can't pass it, they can't digest it. But this, the wheat, isn't until the very end, which means there's very, very little in there, which means next to nothing. And that's on the protein side. The veggies, alfalfa meal, it's about halfway through. And that's the only filler. There's very little of it in there, because once you get into all these vitamins, that's trace. I mean, they're next to nothing. Anyhow, I swear by this stuff. But if you're looking for color in your fish, do foods help? Yes, but that's not what gives your fish color. What gives your fish color is your water quality. The better your water quality, the more colorful your fish will be. Anyhow, hope that helps somebody. That's it.